So I would like us to look at the methods of calculating wages. Methods of calculating wages. In most cases we have the three major methods. Okay, we have time rate, we have piece rate, and we have others which we are going to discuss. Right now, the premier bonus and the differential piece rate, guaranteed piece rate. So we are going to discuss all of them. Let us start with the time rate. Time rate method. So under this method, that's the time rate method. Under time rate method, payment is made on the basis of the time. Payment is made on the basis of the time. That may be an hour. That may be an hour, a day, a week, or a month. So you look at the time element. If you are going to pay per hour, how much are you going to pay per hour? How much are you going to pay per day? How much are you going to pay per week or per month? So under time rate method, you look at the time which the worker has worked. So there is a certain amount of money is set aside for each of the above unit of time. A certain sum of money is set aside for each unit of time above. So when I'm using the word above, I mean hour, day, week, or month. So as an organization, you set aside, if you are going to pay per hour, we are going to pay a particular rate. If you are going to pay per day, you plan, you budget for it. Per day we pay a certain amount of money. Per hour we pay a certain amount of money. Per day or per month we are going to pay a certain amount of money. So hourly rate is decided in advance. Hourly rate is decided in advance. Before you start payment or before calculation of the wages, mostly at the first days when you are preparing the budget for the year, you must decide how much you are going to pay your employees per day, per hour, per month, per week, according to how you are going to decide. So it should be budgeted, should be decided in advance, and it should be in written, so that when you are discussing with the employee, you can get a wrong will. So that hourly rate which is decided in advance is multiplied. The hourly rate decided in advance is multiplied by the number of hours worked during a particular month, and the resultant figure is the wage for that month. The same way as I said when I was saying about the payroll. So this hourly rate which you have decided in advance, you multiply with the number of hours worked for you to get the wages payable for that month. So it is better to decide the hourly rate in advance before the workers start working. So that's how the time rate method is calculated. That's how you calculate the wages using time rate method. I would like us to look at the second one as piece rate. Piece rate method. So under piece rate method, an employee is paid per unit of product, article, or per job completed. An employee is paid per unit of product, article, or job completed. So here you are counting the units or the articles which has been produced for you to pay an employee. So if it is a service you cannot count, you pay according to the work completed. So in this method can be applicable where work can be divided into smaller or into small portions or pieces. It is applicable only if work can be divided into small items. So if the work cannot be divided, and these small items should be uniform into uniform articles. So if you say you are going to pay, for example, you are going to pay 20 shillings per kg per kilogram, it means you are going to divide the work done into kilograms. If that work cannot be divided into kilograms, then you are not going to use such a method. Make sure you use piece rate where work can be divided into uniform articles or into uniform pieces. So if they are not going to be divided, then you don't use that method. So the other methods of computing wages, the other methods now. The other methods, let's start with one. We have high time rate, for overtime. High time rate for overtime. Okay, for high time rate for overtime, we have the normal working hours. Then we have extra hours which employees can work. So in this case, we have higher rate for the overtime than the normal working hours. So for the normal working hours, employees receive the normal rate, the normal wage rate. Then for any extra hours which an employee has worked, they receive a high rate than the normal rate. That's why we call it high time rate for overtime. For example, in normal circumstances, most companies, you are supposed to work for 40 hours in most organizations. So for these 40 hours a week, you are supposed to be paid the normal wage rate. Normal wage rate, which we call in calculations or in accounting, we call them 1. You can call it 1 or 100%. Then for any extra hours worked during weekdays, these are the normal working hours. Then for extra hours during weekdays, an employee is supposed to be paid 1.5. 1.5 meaning 150%. So you have a half extra over the normal time. That is high time rate. Then for any work done during the weekend, an employee is supposed to be paid 2. That is meaning twice the normal rate. Meaning he's supposed to receive 200% for the weekends. That's according to the Constitution. So for this high time rate for overtime, that's how the wages are calculated using that method. I think, and it's the method which is being used by most organizations. Right now, the manufacturing companies, they usually use the high time rate for overtime method to calculate wages for their employees. Other method, we have this rate with guaranteed time rate. This rate with guaranteed time rate. So in this method, as you have seen, we have this rate with guaranteed time rate. So the two methods are combined. So in an organization, they decide for every day, every employee should produce a maximum, or they give a quota. They are given a limit of output. So they can say per day they are supposed to produce 100 articles. So if you produce more, you are going to be paid per article. The extra article which you produce, you are going to be paid using this rate. But if you produce the same amount or number of articles, you will receive the normal payment. And if you produce less, you receive the normal payment. So they use time rate to calculate the wages. Then for any extra article which the employee produces, they pay using piece rate method. So they count extra articles produced for you to receive your total payment. So you can receive 2 payments in one if you produce more than the limits which you have been given. But if you produce less, there must be reasons why you produced less. Maybe there were unavoidable circumstances which made you to produce less. So under this method, a specific amount a specific amount is paid to the employees daily or monthly basis, irrespective of what they produce. Then the lower output may be of the reasons which were not being avoided, which we call unavoidable circumstances. Maybe there was shortage of materials, or power failure, or maybe there was machinery breakdown. Those reasons are for the company, they are not for the employee, so they receive the normal pay. But any employee who produces more, he receives extra amount according to the extra units produced. Then we have the differential piece rate. We have differential piece rate. Differential piece rate. The piece rate varies. The piece rate varies at different levels of output. So, for example, if a worker produces more units, then he gets higher piece rate beyond a specific level of output. If a worker produces more units, then he gets a higher piece rate beyond a specific level of output. For example, if the limit is, if you produce one unit to 100 units, you receive 5 shillings per unit. So you multiply. Those who produces 100, you multiply by 5. Those who produces 60, anything within the limit, you multiply by 5 shillings. And then you can say 101 to 200, they can receive 6 shillings per unit. So the more you produce, the higher rate you are going to receive as payment. Then you can say 201 to 250, you can pay 7 shillings per unit. And those who can produce beyond 250, you pay them 8 shillings per unit. So it will depend on the number of articles which you produce. If you produce more, you receive higher rate. You receive higher piece rate. If you produce less, you receive lower piece rate. So it will depend on how many pieces you have produced. That's why we call it differential piece rate. So this one is a very good method for those who are hardworking. But for the rest, they prefer time rate, whereby they are going to count only the time worked. Even if they were idle, they are going to be paid. But piece rate, you cannot receive your payment until you produce something which is touchable, which is seeable, you can see. Then we have the premium bonus schemes. Premium bonus schemes. So these are the schemes which came about in order to look at how the workers are supposed to be paid their bonuses. Bonuses is the extra amount which is paid the workers who does not receive overtime or commission. Mostly the managers, instead of receiving commission, they receive bonus. We have 3 common premium bonuses. We have house rate, we have house scheme, we have house rate waiver, and we have raw one. premium bonus scheme. So under this premium scheme, a worker is paid according to the number of hours saved. So this premium bonus is paid to workers according to hours saved. For example, you are being given a particular piece of work to do or to complete within a particular specific hours. Instead of completing the work at that specific hours or taking the given hours or the allowed hours, you take rest, meaning you have saved some hours. So you receive a premium bonus. So the employer assigns some jobs to the workers to complete within specific number of hours. If the workers complete this work within or jobs less than time allowed, then these employees have saved some time, so they will receive a premium bonus. So the bonus which accrues to the employer is going to be shared with the employees in a particular rate. So for you to get the total wages to pay the employee, you are going to use this formula. Total wage to be paid the employee equals to day rate wage plus bonus paid on time saved. So the day rate wage plus the bonus which you base on the time saved for you to get the total wages. So total wages equals to wage rate, that's the normal wage rate which you call day rate wage, plus bonus which you base on the time saved. So how are you going to get the time saved? Time saved equals to time allowed minus time taken. So the time which you are given by your employer to do the job, then you subtract the time which you actually did the job. That's how you get the time saved. So I said we have 3 bonus schemes. We have Halsey, which uses this formula to get the bonus, half into time saved times wage rate. Another bonus scheme is the Halsey waiver scheme. Now in Halsey where instead of using a half, we use a that. 1/3 into brackets time saved times wage rate. Then we have row 1. We have row 1 scheme. Row 1 scheme, we have time, a bit complicated, time taken over time allowed times wage rate. Those are the formulas which they use to calculate the premium bonuses for each employee. So it could depend on the time which you saved when you are doing your job. In most cases, organizations use the three schemes in order to choose the one which is economical for them. For the employees, they choose the one which can give them more, but for the organizations, they use the economical premium scheme, the one which gives them the lowest amount to pay as bonus. Okay, that's all. Next time I will show you an example from a question paper which shows how the premium schemes are calculated and how wages are calculated in general, and we prepare a payroll.